This podcast is brought to you by Balancing Act. Teach, coach, mentor, inspire. A collection of candid observations on the challenges facing business leaders today. Balancing Act is authored by Dr. Andrew Temte and is available today on Amazon and other fine bookstores. On this episode, we're chatting with Sarah Bekkum of the Nordic Creamery. We talk about cheese making, the intricacies of what makes cheese stand apart, and Sarah's picks for us. You can find more conversations, food reviews, live music, and events on our website, lacrosselocal.com. I'm Amy.
And I'm Brent.
And this is Lacrosse Local.
Hi, my name is Sarah Bekkum. I was born in Viroqua, Wisconsin, and I got into cheese making by marrying a cheesemaker.
So you just kind of stumbled into it, huh?
Kind of. Yeah, I've been a farm girl all my life, and this is kind of what happens when the farm girl marries the cheesemaker.
So what led to the creation of the Nordic Creamery?
Well, my husband had been in the dairy industry for years, been a cheesemaker for years. He'd ran a couple other plants, and then he lost his job and decided he didn't really want to work for anybody else anymore. So why not do our own thing? Why not start it? We actually broke ground before we even had financing secured, and we just kind of flew for it. It was kind of interesting.
I've had your cheese before down at the People's Food Co-op. I've had it at big festivals like Beer, Wine, and Cheese down at the Fest Grounds. How does your cheese stand apart?
Well, our cheese is handcrafted. I mean, it's a totally hands-on production. We don't have any automatic computerized equipment like the old-fashioned way to make it. And all our producers are small family farms. Like our cow farms don't have more than 40 cows on a farm. And then we also have goat and sheep producers. So it's all small family farms.
Grass-fed is, a keyword I hear a lot. Are they grass-fed cheeses as well?
Yeah, definitely in the summertime, everything's grass-fed. Yep.
Based on the season, does it kind of like transform different tastes? Would a cheese, I guess a standard one, do the flavor profiles change throughout the year?
It does, but I mean, it's pretty subtle, pretty hard to tell. This time of year when the cows are just out eating a lot of grass, though, you can tell they're eating so much grass when you're making the cheese in the vat. It is so yellow. I mean, just that color from the grass comes through. And then they've got, all this wonderful fat in there. And so a lot of times the fat will rise to the top. It's just a wonderful time of year right now.
I never think about that in terms of with cows and cheeses. I guess I always think about it with bees. Bees, if they're next to a lavender plant or various other plants around them, really affects how the honey tastes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cows, definitely what they're eating has a lot to do with it. Especially like in the middle of winter when everything's kind of like evened out. Then you can always tell when your farmer opens maybe like a new silage bag or something. The whole components of the milk changes a little bit.
So what are some of your favorite cheeses and, even butters that you guys have?
The one probably closest to our heart we call it Caprico. It's a cheese my husband invented. It's a cow milk and goat milk blended together. So when we first started, we started 13 years ago and 14 years ago. When we first started, a lot of people were like, goat milk or goat cheese. They just didn't really want to try it. They had some bad experience with a previous goat cheese or something. So we kind of developed this as like a gateway cheese, kind of almost. It has a little bit of the cow flavor, but it kind of finishes with a little bit of that goat flavor. And it won a bunch of awards for us right away from the get-go. So it's kind of dear to our hearts that way. But my new favorite cheese is we're making a cheese made out of 100% A2 milk. So for people that don't understand what that is, cows produce the protein, either A1 or A2, or even a combination of them. So you can check the cow and see what protein she's producing. And they've proven that if you're only using the A2 milk, it's a lot easier for people to digest.
That's interesting. I talked to John Holthouse over at Milkhouse Dairy, and he kind of talks about how they produce that milk as well.
Yeah, it's kind of a new thing. It's really taken off, and we've gotten such nice reviews from some of our customers. I mean, it's just life-changing for some people.
And going back to the goats now, so was this cheese, this mix of goat milk and cow milk, was this something that was done before?
Not a lot, I don't think, but then it just, I don't know. I don't think so. Not really.
Well, I'd like to try that because I've been growing into goat cheeses. Some are kind of more mild and some are a little bit, it's almost like you're eating the actual goat. But, I've really enjoyed kind of exploring those.
Yeah, some are just so like barnyardy that people are just, some people love that though, but a lot of people don't.
A tough question. This last year has probably been tough for businesses, tough for individuals in the pandemic. How has it affected your business? Is there any light to it or?
Yeah, when it first started, it was initially terrifying. Our distributors that had orders called and said, well, we're not picking them up, so they're sitting in the cooler waiting to go, and now they're not picking them up. But then everything kind of revolved. Because we had a lot of food service and restaurants we dealt with, but then they kind of changed into, well, a lot of our stuff funneled into more grocery stores, so we kind of kept rolling that way. And then we ship anywhere in the US too. So people can order off our website. And so we worked with a local shipper. So for Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, and Iowa, if you spend $30, we'll ship to you for free. So that kind of really took off for us too. And nobody wanted to go anywhere then. So we just shipped everything everywhere.
Well, it's nice to see, adaptation for businesses, finding a different market or maybe even making one a little bit stronger, like the online sales. Mm-hmm. So what's coming up for the Creamery? Any exciting news?
Well, we just opened our new store in Westby. We were going to open it last year, but with everything going on, we kind of just put it on hold for a year. So we opened that. It's right on the south edge of town, right on Highway 14. And we're working on getting our petting zoo built. So sometime this summer, we'll open up our petting zoo. We're going to have some farm games and just be a nice place to bring your family.
Man, petting zoo. That's a good thing. I'd like to bring my family out and do that. So
we're located right at the edge of the bike trail, the little bike trail that goes between Westby and Broquah. So you can park your car and go for a bike ride and come back and have an ice cream cone.
So if people want to find out more, what's the best avenue for them to check out?
They can just look at us up on Facebook, Nordic Creamery, or just go to our website, NordicCreamery.com.
All right. One last question. If someone who maybe it's a cheese that's maybe a little different, maybe for more of the experienced palate, what's a good intro cheese for that you have?
Maybe our Grumpy Goat. It's probably our most popular cheese. It's a goat cheese, a goat cheddar, but we aged it a little bit. So you get a little bit of the tanginess from getting aged and a little bit of the tanginess from being a goat cheese. It's just really delicious.
Lacrosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you'd like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at Lacrosse Local. Find out more about us at lacrosselocal.com, and you can subscribe to the Lacrosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We appreciate it.